this is what we have right now. We pass it every day going to Cumberland. This is the view of our existing wetland. And a while ago, Cumberland entered into a liquid waste management plan, to which we started off with getting the world's leading authority, Bob Gearhart. He made a presentation at the village a few years ago. And you formed a Citizens Liquid Waste Advisory Committee, and you completed your liquid waste plan. And then the Ministry of Environment approved a constructed sewage treatment wetland. So that's all leading up to this presentation. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about other constructed wetlands and what we envision for what might happen out here on our constructed wetland on the way to town here. This is probably the most well-known one. The Arcata Marsh and Wildlife Sanctuary actually started out as a sewage treatment facility back in 1979, and it was actually piloted by Dr. Bob Gearhart, who came up here to talk to us. And by 1986 they'd integrated 100% of the sewage into this wetland, and in 1993 they actually they opened an interpretive centre because there were so many people coming to see not just sewage being treated, but also the wildlife sanctuary. And this is a picture of the sewage treatment plant. And I'll show you a few more if you'd like to hand these around. I actually took these back in 2000 when I went down there. It really is a stunning place. So are the statistics. 200,000 visitors a year come to this little spot. It's only a village of about, I think, 20,000. They have 250 bird species, so most of the visitors are actually birders. They spend, I think, second only to golfers as far as the dollar per tourist. And they have 4.5 miles of trails, so it's quite an impressive place. Now, what Cumberland did is they engaged Catherine Barris to look at this in 2006, and that's the study she did. I've got one copy of this, and I'll pass this around. This is what she did as a kind of an overview of what it might look like there. So we've just kind of put that into a little more detail so you can see what it might look like with different highlights on that. And one of the big things that we think would be a real benefit to not only the village but perhaps the whole area is an interpretive centre very much like what they have in Arcata. And in fact, there's a great spot potentially for it up by the cemetery where there's a certain amount of parking. And so Catherine did look at that back in the study as a potential spot. Another highlight are the potential greenway connections. So these trails could actually tie right into the greenway study that we're doing right now as a village. So it could be a wonderful spot to enter our system of trails. And here's some of the trail systems that are existing already in red. And here's some additional ones for a complete overview. So it could be quite an impressive trail system here. And some of the benefits, obviously, it could be a potential major tourist attraction, just like Arcata is. There are cruise ship visitors who come here. There's typically 1,800 per tour. They're desperate to find more people. I talked to Ron Bannerman, who I'm sure you all know. He would love to have more spots to take some of his clients for some of his tours, so it could be a great spot. And because of its siting, it would really complement the proposed Discovery Centre really well. We believe it would be very symbiotic for the two. Obviously, there's dollars from the wildlife enthusiasts, particularly the birders, linkage to the existing trail system, jobs to be had, and this could be a gateway into the village, as I say, complementary to the Discovery Centre. Now, some of the issues that we might need to address is the actual public access and the trail system. This is crucial to your liquid waste management plan. When the money was sought for our liquid waste treatment, the innovative aspect of having a trail system with public access was absolutely necessary for that to be approved. So, in order to do that, obviously it has been integrated with the liquid waste plan. I noticed here we've got an announcement for reinstating the Public Advisory Committee. So we would, as a group, love to be officially sanctioned to work with the village in some capacity, either as part of the committee or whatever, so we can move on with this, because we see that one of the things we're going to need is money. And there are a couple of us, I've fundraised millions and millions of dollars over the last 20 years, so I would love to throw my energy into this. Other community partners, we know the Naturalist Society are very interested in this kind of thing. The school district was approached quite some time ago, really interested to take tours out there, and just volunteer involvement. The 6 of us who are really, really keen to go at this, so we'd love to throw our energy into it. So that's mostly what I have to say. There's the community, and there's the money coming to the community. So let me just switch the lights back on again so you can see. I don't know if any of the other members of the committee or our group have anything to add? Ron?
Well, if it worked the way it's supposed to, with primary, secondary, and tertiary treatment with the treatment wetland, the water going into Maple Creek and then down into the Trent River would not have any phosphorus in it anymore, and other heavy metals are removed by the plant life in a treatment center, and perhaps there would then be salmon spawning in the lower reaches of the Trent River, as there was in the past.
In fact, the DFO only approved this because the very high degree of treatment that constructed wetlands provide would allow just that to happen. They saw stream augmentation, in other words, putting water back into the stream, as a really essential part of this whole thing. So it's already got that kind of support. And so I should throw this open to any questions council members might have.
I would make a comment. I think it's an excellent, it's right in line with our original concept of the wetland, and all the points you make, the interpretive center, the tourism, etc., and certainly the wildlife. And I think we should make sure that your package is also taken to our engineers, and so that everybody's aware when they're designing. As well as the Ministry of Environment, of course, is reviewing this, as you know, and we've put an advertising out to get a new membership on this committee, which we have to follow the rules on. We can't just appoint a group now before that's finished. But regardless of how that turns out, I think your group should be part, advisory body, whatever it works out to be, to that committee.
Great. Well, we're very keen to do exactly that. Councillor Britt?
Yeah, just a couple of questions. I was going to ask, could you supply us with a list of all the members of your committee that would like to?
Absolutely, certainly I can do that, yeah.
This trail linkage here, is there any boardwalks in there, or is that all on firm ground?
What Catherine Barris did, I believe, was a primary analysis of various approaches. Some of them were boardwalks and some weren't, and she actually costed it out. Now, I don't have a copy of that, but I believe it's around somewhere, just to get an order of dollars of what it might cost. So I could certainly try to find that, and
If it's here, we should be able to find it.
I did ask actually, and it isn't.
Oh.
So I might have to find it somewhere else. I actually had that on my computer I found from some years ago, because I was actually part of the original committee way back when, so I might have to dig it out somewhere.
And it would also be nice to know how many miles or kilometers this trail link area is.
Certainly. Well, I can certainly look into that and furnish you whatever you don't have.
It's nice to have you step forward. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
I have a comment here. I noticed everything south of Cumberland Road. I've seen lots of drawings and lots of stuff laid out because of the existing treatment plant that we have, or system. But somebody made a presentation to us 2 weeks ago, and there's 24, I think it is 24 acres of wetland north of Cumberland Road that ties into this, that I think somebody better have a look at and consider the impact that it's also going to have on here, because it does flow through Cumberland Road into here. So that was interesting.
Yeah, and our engineers have spoken to them actually. That's a good point.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I was really fired up about always when Dr. Gerhardt came here, I went to see him at every occasion, and I believe we are going to have something like that, but we've had so many other things that we have had to sort of put it on the back burner, so I'm really glad your group is bringing forward and putting energy into it. It's a fabulous vision. There's that part that's on the map, that's a grey area in the middle, is that pine bog that is a unique ecosystem and has some quite unusual plants that would only be found up in the high lands up above Mount Washington. So I see those will be protected, the boardwalks will be around the edge, and it's going to be, for naturalists in general and botanists and birders, it's going to be a superb site.
It is. It's absolutely beautiful. There's actually 2 areas that Catherine Barrett's identified. That was one of them as having conservation requirements.
So thank you again to you.
Okay,
I
thank
would
you.
also encourage any of your members of the committee to apply for the new committee, if that's what you
Okay, sure.
take the application in, don't assume we can just appoint.
Yeah,
you.
because it was great to integrate the two, so we're not
Yeah.
sort of off on the side working on our own.
One other comment, this one that you said you visited, was there finfish present in the system too, did you know?
They started off with those. Actually, it started off with putting salmon in sewage. Back in 1972, they had ponds growing salmon. And I don't know if there are any more, but that was their original research project. And it was highly successful, actually.
So
That's just another point, that's right on the edge of Humboldt Bay. It's where a lot of our oysters originated from. It's one of the most sensitive bays in actually in all of California.
Okay.
And it's part of the flyway, the bird flyway, just as Boundary Bay is in BC, the Rifle Bird Sanctuary.
Any other questions, Catherine? Thank you very much.
Thank you, too.